On January 5th, 2016, my life changed forever. I walked into an urgent care center complaining of heartburn and walked out of the hospital with the cancer diagnosis. So for context, this is the beginning of the year. I just started the Daniel fast because I really I wanted to know God more. And I know that people usually do Daniel fasts or fasting. And I decided to do the Daniel fast at the beginning of the year. I am a junior in college and I also have a paid internship program. So on that particular day, those past couple of days, I had not been feeling well. I just been having this excruciating heartburn. And I just thought maybe it's stress. Maybe, I ate too much over the holidays. I still had some leftovers. So I'm thinking maybe I just ate too much, and that's what's going on. So on January 5th, after I leave my internship, I was going to go to the urgent care just to see what's going on. So after I leave work, I go to the urgent care. I explain to the doctor that I've been having like excruciating heartburn. I don't know what's going on. She examines me and she's like, your abdomen is very hard. I can't help you. I think you need to go to the emergency room. And, on my way to the urgent care, I was gonna just go home. I was like, you know what? This is just excruciating heartburn. I'll be fine. Of course, keyword excruciating, right? I'm just gonna go home, and for the past couple of months, anytime I ate, I always got heartburn, and I couldn't. All I could do really was make sure I had like a carbonated drink, because that would help being able to belch and burp, and kind of release some of the gas and whatnot, and also Tums. So ginger ale and Tums like my best friend during that time. And something kept nudging me that no, Mitty, you need to go. You need to go to the urgent care to figure out what's going on with you. So I do go. And I'm also glad that I went. So from this moment, I'm on my way to the ER. And forgive me if I look down. I have notes. I just want to make sure that I stay on track, I stay on script, and I stay on time. So I get to the emergency room, and before I left the urgent care, the doctor said that she was going to call over to the hospital because they're from the same company. She's going to call over and let them know that I'm on my way. So I get there, I meet with the doctor, I let her know, I explain everything that's going on, about the heartburn and about the other doctor telling me that my abdomen was very hard. It's very hard to touch, and that when she pressed down on it, it didn't just like release back, if that makes sense. And at this point, she's thinking it's an ulcer. I'm thinking it's an ulcer, but she's like, just sit tight. We're gonna run some more tests and figure out what's going on. So at this point, I meet with the attending. I'm admitted into the emergency room, and I meet with the attending, and he's like, well, we're gonna do an ultrasound just to kind of figure out what's going on, and get a clear picture. So I go do my ultrasound, and the ultrasound technician, as she's moving, I think the Doppler against my belly, she's like, why is your abdomen so hard? What's going on? She's like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant, no. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, no, miss, I'm not pregnant. Okay. And she's like, okay, you're not pregnant. And she said, I just don't understand what's going on. So the attendant comes back and he's like, okay, so we don't know what's going on. The ultrasound, we don't know. So we're gonna do a CT scan. So they do the CT scan, the results come back, and at this point, I text my friends like, hey, I'm in the ER and I don't really know what's going on. So one of my friends comes to be with me, and by that time, the doctors come back with the results of the CT scan, and he's like, oh, well, you know what's going on? Your bladder is quite enlarged, and we're going to insert a catheter to see if we can produce some urine, and that way it might relieve some pressure. But I'm like, how can my bladder be that enlarged to cause heartburn? That doesn't make sense. But if my bladder was enlarged, it did make sense because Another symptom that I had that I didn't quite remember, sometimes like things just happen, like they don't happen all at the same time. They happen like at different times. So I had heartburn at one time. And then sometimes I would have issues where I would have accidents where if I didn't make it to the bathroom, like within 2 seconds, it was over for me. So I was having those issues as well. So that kind of made sense that maybe my bladder was like, super enlarged. So they insert the catheter. I'm producing some urine, of course. Well, of course, there's a reason why, of course, I'm producing some urine. I'm producing urine. And from there, this is about maybe an hour, 2 hours. So I leave work at 3 o'clock. We are now at about 7 o'clock. The doctor comes back again and he's like, you know what? I talked to some other doctors. This is not your bladder. This is a mesenteric cyst. By the way, these cysts are very rare. There's like, correct me, I think 600 documented cases. So this is a very rare cyst, okay? And he's like, well, we need to do surgery immediately. And this type of cyst is a cyst that I think it comes from the small intestine. That's where it's located. And he's like, we need to do emergency surgery first thing tomorrow morning. So you can imagine, 3 o'clock, I was in urgent care. I was about to go home. I decided not to go home. And then it's 7 o'clock now. And now I'm learning that I'm having 7 or 8. I'm learning that I'm having emergency surgery for a very rare cyst that starts in the small intestine. So we go from heartburn to maybe ulcer to bladder, and now we're in mesenteric cyst. I can't say if it was the night before or the day of the surgery. I had so many doctors coming in, and med students, interns, that sort of thing, because the cyst was very rare. I didn't know that at the time. It was like kind of like whoa. They were coming in like I was a test subject. Like, can you explain your symptoms? Can you explain like when you felt this all started? They were just really intrigued by everything, and I'm just sitting here like, y'all keep coming in like every 5 seconds. I'm not gonna be able to sleep, okay? My nerves a little bad right now, and I'm trying to like just relax because I went from heartburn to surgery first thing, and y'all just keep coming in with all these questions. And can you see my belly? And can you touch it and see? Like, can you? And it's just so much going on. So it was so many doctors that were coming in and out, So I don't remember when the attending brought in the gynecologic oncologist, if it was that night or the day of. Either way, he did bring in the gynecologic oncologist. And basically, the women's health specialist, he said that, just in case, because of the location of this, they may not be able to know for sure if it's a mesenteric cyst until they do the surgery. And they just want to make sure that, they knew, but they weren't like 100% sure. It could have been connected. They said that it could have been connected to my reproductive organs, and they want to have the gynecologic oncologist there just in case, because it is a cyst. It is a type of tumor. So they just want to make sure that, it wasn't a tumor just yet. I'm getting ahead of myself, excuse me. The cyst, so they want to make sure that it's not attached to my reproductive organs, and if it is, then it could be something that I would need to be referred to the gynecologic oncologist. So it's the next day. My surgery does not happen first thing in the morning, but it does happen. It happens at noon, and it's a long surgery. Before I went in, the doctor also told me, and the surgeons also told me that it'd be a laparoscopic surgery, that they're just gonna make, minimally invasive. It's gonna be like small holes, small incisions in my abdomen, and they'll be able to I guess cut the pieces of the cyst and then take it out like that. But unfortunately, they were not able to. So when I woke up, I felt like I had been hit by a tractor trailer, because they made a vertical incision all the way down my abdomen. So when I woke up, I was just all sorts. besides the medication that they give you that makes you very loopy. And like I said, so many doctors. So I wake up and there's so many doctors. My friend managed to call my family, so now my family's here with me, and it's just like a crowded room of people, and I'm just waking up like, ooh, thank God I'm alive, you know. And at this point, I see the attending from yesterday. I think I see some of the, you know, the surgeons, all that, and then I see the gynecologic oncologist. I see her again, and so they finally get me up, you know, and you know I'm finally woken up rather, and you know the women's health specialist, she's like, you know, it was a very long surgery. It was about 6-7 hours. You know, the tumor, it was the size of a 2-liter bottle, so we couldn't do the laparoscopic. That's why you're a little bit more pain, not a little, a lot more pain, y'all. And she's like, we had to make a critical decision to remove it. She said, also, we want to let you know that it was not a mesenteric cyst. It was ovarian cancer. She says, fortunately, we were able to preserve your fertility. And I think I'm still in a state of shock. I think it's the medication. I think it's a mix of both. So it doesn't quite register just yet. Because she's like, oh, you know, we removed your right fallopian tube and your right ovary, but your fertility is still preserved. Now that you have one, it will act as two, so everything's okay. She says, also, we did 24 biopsies, and we sent them to Johns Hopkins to see if the cancer has spread. Also, we also sent the case to Johns Hopkins for confirmation of the diagnosis. So I'm sitting there like trying to take it all in. Everybody's looking at me, you know, and I'm like, so the first thing that comes out of my mouth, I'm like, so you're telling me I'm going to lose my hair? And I think everybody kind of laughs a little bit. And you know, it's really the medication. I promise you, I blame it on the medication. And everybody's like, you know, just kind of like laughing. She's like, no, that may not be the case if it hasn't spread, so you may not have to do chemo. So I'm like, okay, all right. Then the second thing, it finally hits me. I'm like, you know what? I told my OBGYN, and this is also a reason why I didn't want to go to the urgent care, because during that time, and even now, it's been a while. It's been 6 years since the ovarian cancer diagnosis, and I'd always get the, oh well, you're sick, your foot hurts, you know, your head hurts, your hand hurts, you need to lose weight. And when I went to my OBGYN in November of the previous year, that's what she told me. She was like, oh well, you just need to lose weight. And also something that happened at the time that didn't register then was that my stomach was distended. So it was like I felt like, I've never been pregnant before, but I felt pregnant. Like, it wasn't like I'm gaining weight everywhere. It was like I'm gaining weight in my belly, and it's rounded, and it's, you know, and that was something else. That's also a symptom of ovarian cancer. All the symptoms I've had thus far, even though they didn't happen at the same time, all symptoms of ovarian cancer. The heartburn, the distended stomach, the bladder, so, you know, the urine incontinence, those are all symptoms of ovarian cancer. That's why they call it the silent killer. Also, when I went to my OBGYN in November, I told her that you know, my period just came, but it was here 2 weeks ago. Like, you know, it hasn't been even like 28 days or 30 days or what have you. This is very regular. You know, what's going on? And of course, her response was, you need to lose weight. So that's why when I was on my way to the urgent care, I was like, should I just go home and take Tums? Because I do not want to hear you need to lose weight. Like, that's not what I want to hear right now. I need for you to tell me if I'm sick or not. And thank God I went to the urgent care, and I just thank God that the doctor that was there was concerned. because with that, I mean, I'm telling you, it went from heartburn to ovarian cancer within 24 hours at this point. So at this point, they told me we have the biopsies and the report. They sent it off to Johns Hopkins. I was in the hospital for 5 more days. I was there for observation. Also, she told me to come back in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. She told me to come back in 3 weeks. That's when they will have the final report, and that's when they'll be able to tell me if it's spread, what does my treatment look like going forward, and things like that. So I come back, it's my 3 weeks. I will say that, having a major surgery like that, and then it being cancer surgery, it's quite difficult. I truly feel for those who are going through cancer, who are in remission, who are cancer free, and survivors, those who have family going through it, because it's just something that it does to your mind and all of this. Like, it's, you feel the physical effects of the chemo, the surgery, what have you, but it's really something that goes in your mind. So it's just, and I will say that during this time, I had such peace. Like, when they were telling me that I had ovarian cancer, I was such at peace with it. Like I mentioned before, I was doing the Daniel fast that year. I was only 5 days in, and I don't know what it was, but the Bible says the peace that surpasses all understanding. That's the peace that I had, because when you get a diagnosis like that, it's like your whole world just shatters. But I had such peace, and I look back at it every now and then. I'll think about it. I'm like, how did you have cancer, but you were so calm? Like, how did you get something that's so life-threatening that that they call it the silent killer? How could you have had something like that, and you're just so at peace? You're so calm, and I truly know that was God, because my mind, everybody around me, my family was there, everybody else was so nervous, and I'm just relaxed, and just it could have been medicine, but I know for sure that it was God. So I go home. Recovery is a little bit, difficult, because, like I said, it was a vertical incision. So it was quite difficult moving around, eating anything. It was really hard. It was really hard. And I'm also grateful that I had friends that were there, because I don't have immediate family that lives in my area. So it was so great that I had friends that were able to be with me at that time, and kind of help me out and stuff like that. But I go back. It's my 3 week to return, my 3 week appointment to go back to get the results. I get the results, and the doctor goes first. She talks about, so the oncologist or women's health specialist, she lets me know that all the biopsies came back negative, that the cancer is not spread. Secondly, she tells me that they were able to get all of the cancer, that it was only confined to my right ovary and my right fallopian tube. So therefore, I'm cancer free. And I'm just like, what? I'm cancer free? 3 weeks ago, I walked in here with heartburn, and now I had cancer, telling me, and then 3 weeks later, I don't have it anymore. First of all, praise God. But second of all, what? That's so, it's so crazy, right? And she's like, yes, you're cancer free. But the cancer you did have was very rare. It was a granulosa cell tumor, and I will leave more information in the description box about granulosa cell tumors. Basically, a granulosa cell tumor, it comes from your hormones. So overproduction or elevated levels of estrogen cause a granulosa cell tumor, or one of the causes of it. And with that, she said that we want you to come in every 3 months to do a CA-125 test, and that's a cancer antigen test. as well as a transvaginal ultrasound so we can get a good view of the uterus to see if there are any growths or things like that. And she says, besides that, that's it. We just want to monitor you closely because you're so young. I was only 20. I was 20 going on 21 when this happened. So she's like, you're so young. This usually happens to women who are postmenopausal, who are in their 50s and 60s, not to a 20-year-old, and not a rare type, right? It's a very rare type of ovarian cancer as well. Ovarian cancer is somewhat rare. And then to have a rare type of ovarian cancer and then caught at the earliest stage. Remember I talked about being a test subject? Now I'm a test subject times 2 because people are just, they're so intrigued. So, they're like, so how did it happen? Do you remember anything? Do you remember how you were feeling? And I said, I can only think about that November time when my periods were kind of off and I was having this distended belly and things like that. And they're like, oh, okay. I was like, I can't really tell you, like, do you have any history of ovarian cancer? I do not have history of ovarian cancer, any kind of cancer in my family that I do know of, maternal and paternal side. So it's even to this day, it's still like kind of like a mind boggle of how everything happened and like how it came and then it left just like that. And they detected it so early for it being such a rare type of cancer. And as you can tell, it came through just like common symptoms, just common everyday symptoms. Oh, I ate too much, or I felt that I ate too much, or I have heartburn. Oh, my bladder is giving me some issues. So, my belly's distended. I'm bloated, those kind of just little things. My period's irregular. Okay. It's not something that when you think like separately, like they didn't all happen at the same time. You think of them separately, it's not really, something that is like so striking, And this is where I get to the point of advocating for your health. It is so important to advocate for your health. I think something I did mention previously was that also with my OBGYN, I told her that something's wrong with me. I let her know that something's wrong with me. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm not feeling well and I know something's wrong with me. And when you know your body and you know something's wrong with your body, please go see a doctor. If they don't want to listen to you, go see another doctor. Go see several doctors if that's what it takes. You know your body. If something doesn't seem right, please go, because it may not be ovarian cancer, it may not be cancer, but it could be something that is still extreme, or it's still something that's that needs to be checked out, that you need to be seen for. So after this, so now I'm cancer free, and it's just like, it's wow. And I just can't believe, and a part of me is like, man, what about admitting if you had went home, and like I said, advocacy, like just knowing, like, if you know something's wrong with your body, just being sure of that and standing in that. Also, please don't go on WebMD, don't go on Google and Google all these symptoms and then go crazy. Please don't do that. The Bible does say that we should pray in everything. Pray, and please pray. And then go see a doctor if you need to. Besides this, it has been 6 years since it happened all in 1 month, really. It's like the whole month of January, since my cancer diagnosis, cancer surgery, and being cancer-free. And I am just so grateful to God for everything. I'm also praying for everyone or anyone that is going through cancer, or has somebody that's going through cancer, or any other major diseases or anything, I'm just really mind blown how I was healed. And I also pray for that supernatural healing for you or for your family members as well. And I'm gonna go back to my notes. I said I'm praying for those that are currently sick with cancer, and those that are survivors. I pray God's healing over you. I pray that he gives you peace. The Bible says that he has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. And I pray that over you because, like I said, I had peace throughout the whole situation. I had peace, and I pray that peace, that God gives you a peace above all, that surpasses all understanding. I pray that peace for you. I also leave you with these two scriptures. Jeremiah 33:6 says, "Nevertheless, I will bring health and healing to it. I will heal my people and will let them enjoy abundant peace and security." Colossians 3:15, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of our body, you are called to peace, and be thankful." I truly, truly pray for all of you. I really hope that that my testimony, the testament of God's glory, of his healing, of his supernatural protection too, right, during that time, that it's also, that it encourages you, right? And that if this is somewhat similar to your situation, that God is also with you, for healing, for peace, for comfort, whatever it may be.